now saving to me means I have to compromise on my lifestyle. And there is always that generic topic of like, if you want to save for your insurance, you just eat one less McDonald's meal. And I always go to the FN like, bro, do you know how much happiness that one Happy Meal is? Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen to our very first episode of Are You For Real? My name is Ian.
And my name is Xuan.
And today we're going to talk about some toxic boomer advice. We've of course heard many of these throughout our lifetimes. They are well-meaning, but sometimes it's a little bit out of touch. And of course today we're going to discuss some. So, Xuan, have you heard of any toxic boomer advice that you take in and you're like, that's a little bit suspect?
I guess one of them is how the term YOLO came about, right, for the youngsters. So I would assume that came about because previously everyone was like, oh, you need to save your money,
right?
You need to save for your future and all that. So then after that, the younger generation kind of revolted and then came out with this YOLO. So I think that is something that can be discussed.
So, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce our boomer expert-in-chief today here in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Alan!
Hello.
He's actually not exactly a boomer.
I'm sorry. Okay,
He's a Gen Z defined boomer.
He is far enough away from us that he can glean some insights. We are just still very Z in nature. Alright, so Alan, welcome. We have listed out 5 different things just now of like toxic boomer advice that we often hear, but a lot of them sounds to us like they're half-baked. Like, oh yeah lah, it sounds correct in your time, but in our time it doesn't apply, right? So let's discuss the first one. Here's the toxic boomer advice we're going to discuss. It is wiser to save your hard-earned money rather than squandering it on travel and experiences.
I thought it's always striking a balance. Saving is actually a habit. So you start early, then you develop this habit. It's easier for you to adopt when you get older. So for me, I thought that was more like a habit that you build up slowly. Even for my own kids, I give them this habit of saving up, give them this idea of time value of money. Like if you're supposed to get a sum of money because of the academic results. And I give them an offer. Say that maybe if you get it 3 months down the road, I'll give you another $20 more. Then they will just choose the letter. They will prefer to get it after. They will tell me like, I don't have any use for it for now as well.
I get this feeling when I was slightly younger where if I didn't learn how to save from the beginning, right, now saving to me means I have to compromise on my lifestyle. And there is always that generic topic of like, if you want to save for your insurance, you just eat one less McDonald's meal. And I always go to the FN like, bro, do you know how much happiness that one Happy Meal is? You have no idea. And it is very different as compared to like when you're young. So, to those who have never been taught to save from young, okay, not saying the parents' fault, but okay, they didn't have the chance or the foresight to learn so. Is it still important? Is there any way for you to like teach them like, hey, it's okay to save. Don't take it as like a disadvantage.
I always believe that in life, there's nothing that is too late to start. Like even at my age, I try to learn new things, even though people may say that, you're hitting your 50s, why are you doing all this? I don't want to come to a point of time. I look at my own mom. Certain times, she always give this excuse to me and say that I don't know lah, just do it for me. So what I told my wife was that we try to not behave like that when we get older. We for a start we need to build that kind of habit that we always learn, see how the world has changed, and so that is the thing that I believe long.
But I think striking a balance is kind of a very safe, correct answer, right? So because if I force you to choose there.
Because you say squander, meaning that you can do a lot of things with it. Like, for example, you can have a decent meal at a coffee shop, but you choose, to have a meal at a restaurant. Even, you can choose between transportation, right? You can take a taxi or you can just take a bus. That to me is, that part of the life you can save a bit, right? You don't have to, like Happy Meals, I think I'm okay. In fact, during my time, McDonald's was a luxury. So I was looking at my kids these days, McDonald's is like coffee shop to them. So it's like, how do I put it? You just don't squander things. You make choices, right? Obviously when you're younger, your time will come. So you just have to make sure that you make every cent count. And of course, pay yourself first. That's a very good advice from Warren Buffett, right?
So now what we are discussing, I think, is like the whole opportunity cost or the standard of living, you know. Like, I have the money, right? But do I want to make sure that I live my life fully now since I'm in it? Or do I want to save in a potential future where, like you said, the world is ever changing. We don't know where the money will go. We don't know how much a dollar will be worth in the future. I save and we can have Zimbabwe economy in the future. What happens then? Then now I have a bad life. In the future, I have a worse life. But now, if I, okay lah, yes, by right, saving should be a very important thing. But I save a lot less. I put more money in the now. I invest in myself now and make my standard of living better. Is that still a valid way to proceed? Or is saving just a universal truth that because compounding will always work for you, therefore save?
Yeah.
What
I think if you are putting in your savings account, then it's a bit of to me, I thought it was a bit of waste of time. You should always, for me, I thought investment was good. It's good. So you have that earlier compounding effect to your savings. Then obviously the earlier you compound, the better it is, right? So then you know that the economy advances. Google will not be Google today 10 years down the road. Right. So imagine that you will be investing in Google 10 years down the road. Their revenue will be changing. Right? Inflation, will happen in these 10 years. The revenue will just increase. Obviously, you will be late, right? So personally, I would rather, maybe just break down your savings a bit. Whether it's savings in a savings account or savings by investing. So if savings by investing, yes, you should. But if savings putting inside a savings account, which is what a lot of people do, you're not having that kind of impact.
Right.
Yeah. So you really have to make it worthwhile for you to save.
I just want to ask, because I'm very curious. Did you ever regret like saving money ever in your point of?
I don't think anyone would regret right? Because with that money, then after seeing that money, how would you?
Have you ever saved money and then something happened and you're like, I should have just spent it?
No, never.
Interesting. Do you have that experience of regretting saving money?
I need to think about it.
maybe travel, yes lah. So there's like this dilemma when you go to a travel destination, then maybe the cable car is very expensive. Then you thought maybe I want to save on the cable car. Then after coming back, then you realize that shit, I have to buy
correct.
ticket, all these things. I should have done that. Then maybe that part, But for generally savings, I don't think I have any regrets about it.
See, maybe in the long term, no regrets but in the short term, confirm, I think there will be a few regrets He talked about traveling. So it's like, I think there was one time my friends and I went to Namsan Tower, right? So we took the cable car up. Then we were like, the cable car a bit expensive, so we don't go on the cable car. Let's just walk down instead. Worst decision we ever made.
Bad.
Worst decision we ever made because first of all, unfamiliar with the area. And then there was one part where it was really like a mountain-esque kind of area where it's full of rocks. So we had to literally like climb down the rocks to see back to civilization from Namsan Tower. So I guess in the short term, like he mentioned, there might be this kind of regrets but I don't think like in the long term, I think there's usually no regret when it comes to saving money.
It really depends. Okay, so here's a case study I have personal experience. I'm the kind of person who likes to do money tracking. I know Excel sheet. I'm the nerd like that, right? So back when I first had adult money, I can buy my own phone. There was a decision between, do I save money and buy an Android phone, or do I just splurge and get myself an Apple? Right? At that point of time, Apple has that branding of like, this is a premium choice. But to me, right, it's actually a Lauren phone. There's a lot of things where you don't need to learn much about technology. It just works, right? And last time, in order to make something happen, I have to like fiddle with my phone and do all the different things just to get what Apple can do comfortably. And then one day, I just kind of roughly sat down. So for every like nonsense thing I need to fiddle around, I waste 10 minutes of my life, right? For all the features that I wanted to make to become like Apple-like phone, I've actually wasted about 4 days of my life just messing about my phone. And no, you ask anybody out there, if you could spend money to save 4 days in your life, everybody would spend it because that is a currency you cannot get back. So do I regret saving? Yeah. bro, like there are some things that are meant to spend. But I think it's very hard for people at that point of time to make the decision of, is this considered a splurge or a necessity?
Yeah.
And do you have any kind of like way to gleam in your experience living through life? Like, how do you know whether or not, like at this point of time, I look right? It's like, is this considered, me just like squandering it?
No, the personal experience that I have one personal experience to share is about washing my vehicle. All right, so the prices have gone up quite substantially over the years, from $7 to now $15, right? So I was asking my wife, should we drive, should we wash our own car, or should we like bring it to the garage and let the people wash our car? Then the cost is only $15. So my gauge is how I gauge this is that how much am I making 1 hour and how much my wife is making an hour. So I thought, it's money well spent, right? I can spend that 1 hour, with my children and with my wife. I think it's worth it, no. So that one I will spend, yeah.
That is solid advice. That is really solid. How much do you make in an hour? If you make more than what you're about to spend, do it, bro. It's okay. You'll make it back. I think, that's a very good advice. I never thought of it that way. Okay, but then what if you're poor, though? Like, because if you think about it, right, like let's say if you're poor, right, then you have to save some money. You can afford to squander it. And to them, squandering means, this time my friend asked me to go Hai Di Lao. It's their birthday. Yeah. Do I spend the Hai Di Lao money? But after that, I every day eat like 泡面香饭.
Life is about choices, man. You make choices. Some, as you have just mentioned, is once in a while, right? You don't have your friend's birthday every 1 week, right? Once only a year. So I think it's fine.
If let's say like you do have friends like 4-5次in a month, is it worth sacrificing like the social connections so that you can keep to your like savings plan? Especially when you're poor, I think that is the biggest decision.
I don't think Singaporeans are that poor that you can't really go to a restaurant and occasionally. I'm not saying every week. I think that's, if you with your friends, most probably you'll be sharing the bill, right? I think that's not going to be quite a fair bit of money. Yeah.
So I'm gonna apologize, but what I glean from that is just don't be poor. If you are poor, just unpoor yourself so that the savings plan work for you. Because that's how I feel. I come from a family where I am in secondary school and primary school. I assist on financial assistance, which means I eat lunch via coupons. So when that happens, I know I need to save because paying for uni is going to be a burden I have to bear, right? So that means sometimes, right, when people go out to have fun, they want to go LAN cafe. You go LAN cafe, people, 60 cents only, $1 last time, right? You play 2 hours, $2 only, okay, what? But you go there, you need to eat. Then you need to buy drinks. Then sometimes you play, you're excited, you get some snacks. That $2 like endeavor eventually becomes $10. And to those people who are well off enough that a family can give them $4 for allowance, that's okay, what, right?
Yeah.
But to me, who I get about $2 that I have to save all of it because I'm eating lunch via a coupon, that's incredibly like I cannot afford that lifestyle. Then that happens where I have to make a choice, and the choice is no longer do I squander my money or save my money. It's between, do I save for my future and become a social outcast now because I cannot join my friends, or do I just in the future I have adult money, right? So I spend the money now first, so that at least I keep some friends. Then in the future there might be social connections, and I think that becomes a very strong point that a lot of us feel now, because last time when you want to buy big ticket items, they're cheaper. Now COE is some incredulous price as though we're like playing Monopoly, and houses are just for the rich, let's be real, right? And we cannot afford that kind of lifestyle that the people who give us the advice can, because back then your money was stronger, heavier, and easier to come. The work, we don't talk about the fact that you work hard, right? We talk about the fact that if you put in the work, the money comes. How much is that worth? And $1 now is worth way less than it used to be. So does that advice still stand? Like, do you believe that I save now, in the future I can make friends? Or it's more important to already you have the friends that you like, right? You keep first, because you can save money in the future.
If what I think after all these years is that if your friends are judging you by whether you spend money with them or not, then they are really not your friends, right?
But they don't judge you. It's just the fact that you're not there because you cannot afford to spend the money.
Understand your situation, right? Since you are friends, most probably you have visited their house and stuff like that, or they have visited your house. Just like my own friends, I was staying in a HDB 3-room flat in a living room literally for 30 years. So even my younger days, I thought that gave me an opportunity to acquire new skills. Because I have only $3. All right, I remember primary school, I have only $3 to spend for the entire day. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. So I have to, settle my breakfast, settle my lunch, settle my dinner. Right, so what happened is that those days we have Nintendo. We have those Nintendo shop, we pay $3 an hour. So I'll go and play for an hour. All right, then I realized that, hey, I got no money to have a meal. What do I do? Learn to cook. So this is what happened. Because my mom is a hawker, right? So there's a lot of vegetables, what's not, in the refrigerator every day.
Yeah.
So from there, I learned how to cook. And yesterday, I was just speaking to my second brother who just came back. He was telling me that I was quite surprised when in primary school, you were asking me, do you want to eat dinner? I'll cook. But that was like, in that kind of situation, it makes me think of alternative.
Right.
Yeah. So when you grow up like that, you always think of a better way of doing things, or even how can we solve this issue? It creates a skill set,
Yeah.
So you always look for solution rather than you keep dwelling on I got no money to have lunch and what, I can only see. I don't do anything about it. Then, then you have some compromise in life.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think that's a very interesting way to think about it, that what you don't gain in general public terms of money or stuff like that, you gain in usable life skills that can benefit in your future. Yeah.